264,000. That's how many Hilux, Prado and Fortuner Toyota sold in this country between 2015 and 2020, fitted with a diesel particulate filter the Federal Court of Australia ruled was not of acceptable quality. Clogging up, robbing power, blowing white smoke down the street. Toyota fought it. Toyota lost the appeal. So the most trusted badge in the country, the one your old man swore by, put 250,000 defective diesels on our roads. Now hold that thought. Here's the part the bloke at the dealership will never tell you. The reputation that lets a brand new Land Cruiser cost you $100,000 and up was not built by the engine in the showroom today. That engine's barely been out 5 minutes. It was built decades ago by engines you can still buy right now, secondhand, for the price of a decent Caravan. And some aren't even Toyotas. I'm going to show you 7 dirt cheap 4-wheel drives that mechanics quietly buy for themselves. The ones we watch go the distance on our own hoists. Then I'll name 5 Utes that look like a bargain on the lot and will empty your bank account instead. 7 to trust, counting down to the one I'd hand my own hard-earned over for. 5 to run from. Let's get into it. Before the Toyota faithful melt the comments, I rate Toyota. I'm not here to bury them. But the badge is not a force field, and I've got a federal court to back me up. Here's what actually makes an engine last, and it has nothing to do with the badge on the bonnet. A tough iron block, a strong crank, fuel injection that isn't strangled by a dozen emissions gadgets all waiting their turn to fail. Most of the engines that quietly do 500,000 kilometers are sitting in cars you can buy cheap right now. I'll give you the honest catch on every one, because there's always a catch. Let's go. Number 7, the Suzuki Jimny, or the older Sierra if you can find a tidy one. The cheapest way onto the whole list. Here's the trick. The oldest one in engineering. Suzuki doesn't ask its engines to do very much. The thing weighs next to nothing. The engine's small, simple, undistressed, not choked with complicated emissions plumbing. Less weight, less stress, less to go wrong. I've got customers who've put 250, 000 kilometers on a little Suzuki doing nothing but oil and filters. The honest catch, and I won't pretend otherwise, it won't tow your boat and it won't haul a ton of gravel. That's not what it's for. But if you want something light that'll get up a goat track and start every morning for 15 years, the little Suzuki will embarrass 4-wheel drives 3 times its price. Number 6, the Mitsubishi. The 3.2-litre 4M41 diesel in the older Pajero and Triton, roughly 2006 to 2010. One of the genuinely great Australian touring engines, and nobody talks about it. I've watched these sail past 300,000 kilometres out in the bush towing a van and just keep going. The honest catch is a timing chain with a top guide that wears. Do the chain around the 200 to 250,000 kilometre mark before it bites you. Cheap part, straightforward job. Do that and the Mitsubishi is about the best dollars per kilometre buy in the country. Number 5, the Hilux. And listen carefully here, because this is exactly where good people get burned. Not every old Hilux diesel is the unkillable legend the internet sells you. The 3-litre 1KD from about 2005 to 2015 has a reputation in my trade for injector seat leaks and the odd cracked piston. It is not the bulletproof one, no matter what your mate at the pub reckons. The Hilux I'll put my name to is the older 1KZT, the pre-2005 3-litre, about as simple and tough as a diesel gets, or a well-kept 2.8 from the newer lot with a filter history checked properly. Buy the wrong one on reputation alone and you'll learn an expensive lesson. The badge is not the guarantee. The engine code is. Number 4, a Toyota Land Cruiser Prado. The 150 series, the 3-litre 1KD, the pre-filter ones from around 2009. A used Land Cruiser doing 90% of the job of a new one for a third of the money. A tidy one is 30 to 40 odd thousand against 6 figures new. The catches, because I promised. The early ones had timing chain wear, so get the chain checked. And the later filtered ones are tangled up in that same particulate filter business we opened with. So buy one pre-filter, get the chain looked at, and you've got genuine cruiser DNA for Prado money. Number 3, the Nissan Patrol. The GQ and GU with the 4.2-litre TD42. This engine will outlive all of us. Mechanical, tough, no clever electronics to leave you stranded 1,000 kilometres from anywhere. The touring crowd who drive to the dead centre of this country and back swear by them. The honest catch is simple. It's thirsty and it's slow. You'll feel it at the Bowser. And a bigger warning. Only buy the 4.2. The 3-litre ZE30 that Nissan also put in these has a documented reputation for letting go through its injection pump, and it is not a cheap fix. Say the engine code out loud before you hand over a cent. Number 2, the 80 series and 100 series Land Cruiser. And now we're in legend country, the 4.2 litre. Either the 1HZ or the 1HD Turbo. The 1HZ is mechanical injection. Almost nothing on it to let you down. These things routinely sail past 500,000 kilometres, and the well-kept ones clock over 1 million. This is the purest version of today's whole point. A second-hand cruiser that'll outlast the brand new one parked right next to it. The catches. The 1HZ is slow as a wet week. And it's got a timing belt you must do every 100,000 kilometres. No excuses, no skipping it, do the belt on time, and it'll bury the lot of us. Quick one before we get to number one. If a mechanic who'll actually tell you which engine code to dodge is worth your time, hit that subscribe. It's the only thing that keeps an honest channel like this one going. Right, number one. The one I'd buy with my own money tomorrow. Isuzu, the D-Max and the MUX with the 3-litre 4JJ1, roughly 2012 to 2020. Here's the thing people don't connect. Isuzu builds truck engines, commercial diesels designed to do 1 million kilometres in a delivery truck without complaining. And the 4JJ1 is built like one, a cast iron block, a forged steel crank, the kind of bottom end that just keeps turning. Mechanics pull these apart at 300,000 kilometres and they're clean inside. Owners are regularly past 500,000 kilometres without the engine ever being cracked open. The honest catch. Keep an eye on the injectors around the 150 to 200,000 kilometre mark. And the brand new post-2023 versions aren't as proven yet. So it's the older 4JJ1 I'm pointing you at. But for my money, that's the closest thing on sale today to the old Toyota reputation. And it's wearing an Isuzu badge for half the price. Now before I let you go, because being straight cuts both ways, let me name the Utes that'll bankrupt you. The ones people buy thinking they've found a cheap warhorse and get a repair bill instead. Bankruptcy number 5. The Jeep Gladiator. A Wrangler with a tray, and it looks the part. But the Pentastar V6 has a known habit of premature lifter and rocker arm wear, sending metal through the oil and chewing up the camshaft. Owners describe it sounding like a diesel before it lets go. Then there's the death wobble. A violent front-end shake at speed that's affected enough Jeeps for the brand to extend warranties over it. Add a brand shrinking fast in this country, and you've got a Ute that's dear to keep healthy and hard to get parts for. Bankruptcy number 4. The Volkswagen Amarok. This one hurts, because it's a lovely thing to drive. But VW ownership here has a reputation, and it isn't for cheap servicing. The older Amaroks carry the baggage of VW's dry clutch DSG era. The running costs, the parts, the specialist labour all sit well above what a Hilux or Ranger owner pays. It's a premium Ute with premium bills attached. And when the warranty ends, those bills don't. Bankruptcy number 3. The 3. 2-litre Ford Ranger and Mazda BT50. Good Utes, mostly, but there's an oil pump on that 3.2 that can fail without warning and take the whole engine with it. Knowing it's there is the difference between a bargain and a heartbreak. Bankruptcy number 2. The Nissan Navara D40, the YD25. This one I'd walk straight past. It has a single row timing chain known to stretch and snap. And when it goes, it doesn't go quietly. It takes the engine with it. You'll see them cheap on the lot for exactly that reason. And the Ute I'd beg you to run from, bankruptcy number 1. The LDV T60. A lot of hard-working people bought one to save a few grand and got burned. Start with the throttle. Owners report a terrifying delay off the line, where you press the pedal and the Ute just sits there before lurching forward. Then the transmission dropping into limp mode. Electrical faults that flare up in the rain. And the big one, rust. Serious enough that it's landed in front of the regulator. A Ute that rusts out from underneath you isn't a bargain. It's a liability with a tow bar. Now I owe Toyota the fair go, because a fair go runs both ways. The Cruiser earns part of that big price on 3 things that matter. 1. Resale. Nothing holds its money like a Land Cruiser, so a chunk of that number comes back when you sell. 2. Remote parts. Breakdown at the back of Cape York and Toyota can get you a part where a couple of my cheaper picks might leave you waiting 3 weeks. 3. Towing and warranty. A 300 series pulls 3.5 tonne all day with up to 7 years of cover. A 300,000 kilometre bargain comes with none of that. So if you're crossing the Simpson Solo, towing 3 tonne, buy the Cruiser and don't think twice. Out there it's worth every cent. But for the 90% of us who aren't, these 7 do the durability job for a third of the spend. The Suzuki, the 4M41 Mitsubishi, the Wright Hilux, a pre-filter Prado, a TD42 Patrol, an 80 or 100 series Cruiser, and the one I'd buy myself, the Isuzu 4JJ1. and steer well clear of that Gladiator, the Amarok, the 3.2 oil pump, the D40 Navara, and the LDV. The badge is not the magic. The engineering is. Buy the engine, not the reputation, and check who looked after it before you did. Now I want to hear from you, because you lot always know things I don't. What's the highest kilometre four-wheel drive you've ever owned? Engine code and all. Drop it in the comments, I read them. And fair warning, I'll argue with a few of you. If a mechanic telling you the truth with nothing to sell is worth something to you, you know what to do with that subscribe button. Look after yourselves. I'm Bo Mitchell, that's it from your Aussie Mechanic.